The following podcast is unsuitable for children under 16 years of age. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fish Food.
You got the Doc.
And today we're going to bring you a special edition of Bottom of the Mat WWE podcast. The other two can't be here with us today. They've got to work, and we're getting ready for work. So you're going to have to deal with us for the next couple hours. Hope you're okay with that. We're going to do things a little differently today. We're going to do a couple flash topics like we do at the Nerdin' Out podcast. So I'm going to hand things over to my colleague Doc, and we're going to get started with the topics.
All right. So first off, congratulations to AJ Lee and CM Punk. These two got married on Friday the 13th, which, you know, for anyone else, I'd say that's a bad omen, right?
Almost, yeah.
But no, these two, that actually fits in with them pretty well.
Absolutely.
They both have sort of bucking the authority, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so any sort of, slap to the face of convention works perfectly for both of them.
Oh, absolutely.
Punk, speaking of, he has called himself retired recently, but WWE may not be done with him. It appears that, and we just found out about this when Rey Mysterio got re-signed without actually having any sort of say in the re-signing process. Apparently, all WWE contracts have a clause in there that if the company feels that the performer owes the company more time due to taking time off for injury, like it was for Rey Mysterio, he was injured for so long out of his last contract, they felt he owed them more time.
Is he still signed with them now?
They re-signed him automatically.
I know they re-signed him like it was 6 months ago. They re-signed him. I don't know how long his extension was.
The extension, I believe, is for a year.
Because we haven't seen really a whole lot of him in the last couple weeks. He probably got hurt again.
He got injured. He rehabbed. He came back. And then he just...
I think he came back a little too early because you could tell when he first came back his knee was still bugging him a little bit.
I think he may have re-injured that knee.
And at that age, you've got to take care of your body.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at The Undertaker. I mean, in all honesty, he probably wasn't ready for that match.
No.
He is old. I mean, he's, 48?
Yeah. There's no way. Like, you're definitely going to get injured. But yeah, if the WWE feels that you owe them more time because you took too much time off, be it for injury or be it for personal reasons, then they have the option to automatically renew you for a year, which works out sort of for WWE in that
he can't go anywhere else. He can't go to like UFC. He can't go to TNA, Ring of Honor, anywhere. I think if he were to go back somewhere, he'd go to Ring of Honor for sure.
Yeah,
that would skyrocket their program. Absolutely.
I don't think it absolutely would, and he loved the indie circuit. That being said, he just got married. He's retired at age 35. He says he loves being retired at age 35.
You can go to a Blackhawks game or a Cubs game anytime he wants now.
Yeah, and
no schedule conflicts.
Anymore, he's always, he's more of just a Chicago celebrity figure.
And he's one of those guys that would spend 300 days on the road. He worked his ass off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And now he's got the opportunity to just sit at home. Not do shit. Except AJ Lee.
Can't say I blame him.
No.
Before you get to the next topic, I have one I want to talk about. WWE.com recently announced the company has released certain superstars. I think there were 10.
Yes.
This list included Brodus Clay, which Brodus Clay, his little Funkasaurus gimmick probably wasn't his best gimmick. When he was still a ferocious, like a monster type, heel, he was great. His main event player heel, I didn't really like a whole lot because there's no way in hell he's a main event player. Even in NXT, he wasn't main event. I mean, he was main event once when he was shooting with Adrian Neville, but that was 3 weeks?
Yeah, it didn't work too well.
It wasn't drawn out. Camacho was in there, and he was
Camacho was good, but
NXT they bumped him down to NXT. Kurt Hawkins, I can't remember the last time I saw him on the WWE anyway.
He wrestled for. He was. Let's be honest. He was
last time I remember
second fiddle to Zack Ryder
and Edge. I remember when it was Hawkins and Ryder with Edge. That's the last time I remember. He still.
Then he went to SmackDown and he was with Tyler Rex.
Mm-hmm. I remember that
for a while, but he was second fiddle to Tyler Rex. And so they just started using them on like house shows, and then they just started using them on publicity, and then they just stopped using them. So he knew it was coming. The thing that I liked about Kurt Hawkins getting fired, though, on the day that WWE announced that these people were being terminated.
This was Thursday, by the way.
Thursday was actually Mark Henry's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of fans on Twitter were sending him pictures of him back when he was first starting out in the WWE. And he was like, 18 years and still here. Which Kurt Hawkins, he had earlier that day, he had tweeted out something like, "My worst fears finally come true. I have to start paying for my own wrist tape again. Shit."
I saw somebody else, I can't remember who it was, they said, "Damn it, of all the days to answer my phone." Yeah. Because all of these firings took place over the phone. Yeah. Which, I can't say it's the greatest way to do it, but when you got so much going on, it's probably the only way to do it.
You know, and these guys, you got to know that they all sort of knew it was coming. But you've got... But yeah, Mark Henry sent out that tweet, and he was just talking about, thanks for the birthday wishes. I'm still here after 18 years. Kurt Hawkins, he was taking everything in stride, and then Mark Henry sent out that tweet. And regardless of whether he meant it pointed towards them, it did seem very insensitive. And Kurt Hawkins put him on blast, calling him an idiot for tweeting that on the day when his colleagues just got fired.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
And
yeah, it was pretty heated. If you have Twitter, look it up, because there was a lot of stuff there.
And Kurt Hawkins, he knows he doesn't have anything to, lose at that point, and he doesn't work for the company anymore.
He'd been fired.
Yeah, Mark Henry's not going to actually legitimately go after him.
Another one on the list was Evan Bourne, which I think the last time I saw him was when he took that freaking shooting star press mid RKO.
Yeah,
that was brutal.
That was brutal. They wrote him off of television after that, but the reason why is he had 2 consecutive failed WWE wellness policy.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah,
I didn't hear about that.
He had 2 of them.
That makes sense.
And it was pretty bad. The 2 that I'm upset about most. Well, the 3 I'm upset about most, though.
We'll get to that.
Teddy Long.
Yeah, Teddy Long, which I actually saw I was on My Funny, and I saw a meme, and it's like, "Oh, I'm fired, huh? How about we do this? Tag team match," because a referee got fired as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got 8 superstars. And then you got Teddy Long. Teddy Long can be the ring announcer. You put 2 teams together, you put the referee in there. Whichever team wins gets to keep their job. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, Teddy Long, I still always remember his biggest screw-up. Talking about John Cena. He's a 3-time WWE champion, which he meant World Heavyweight Champion. Everybody starts booing. He's like, and a 10-time WWE champion. But it was funny.
He got so flustered on the mic, but
he was really good.
Give it up to him. He was, for a guy who started out as a referee, became a manager, and then became a pretty decent general manager. He was a guy who people saw his face, they knew Teddy Long.
Well, do you remember when it was right before Evolution completely broke up, when Batista was making a decision to stay on Raw or go to SmackDown?
Yep.
And Teddy Long sold it. Like, he was like, there's so many opportunities here. You can face John Cena and JBL in a triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, and then eventually you could go one-on-one with The Undertaker, which happened 2 years later, Mm-hmm. He completely sold it. And
he really did.
That idea, when he said that idea got fans excited. Oh, that would be so cool to see Batista and Undertaker maybe for the title someday.
Oh, of course.
And that's exactly why he got drafted to SmackDown shortly after.
Teddy Long, he had a great mind for the business. He wasn't that great on the mic, but he had a great mind for the business. And then the 2 that I'm most upset about.
Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre.
No.
No more 3MB.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, Oksana, I'm sorry about you too.
Yeah, especially because she didn't go out with a bang.
No.
She went out embarrassed.
Yeah.
Did you watch Monday Night Raw?
Mm-hmm.
Alicia Fox just absolutely, completely embarrassed her. I would have been embarrassed to get in that storyline.
Yeah, well, and
I don't care how much you're paying me. That's embarrassing.
That was terrible.
I felt for her hard,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my god, she doesn't deserve that.
She was a powerful wrestler too.
Oh, and I think she should have stuck with the blonde hair because she was smoking with that blonde hair. That Latvia, she's from Latvia, right, or Lithuania? Wherever she's from, that accent. Oh my god, yeah.
Her accent.
It sounds dorky,
that music,
but
that outfit.
Oh god, and that blonde hair is the blonde hair. She looks so weird with that black hair.
Except not to me, because
there's
a lot of people over there that have that.
Very true.
You know, it's. Speaking of Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal being released, which effectively ends 3MB.
If they're going to release those two, why did they not release Slater as well?
Well, and Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre were super, super talented.
They just got done. The last two pay-per-views, they were on the pre-show.
They've been getting so much coverage.
WLC, holy shit, they showed off what they can do.
Yeah, they've been getting so much press. They've been getting so much airtime, so much coverage. And it sort of feels like it's WWE being like, hey, we're going to fire you, so we're going to give you all this airtime. But no, these guys were actually putting on good shows.
Exactly.
Every time they stepped into the ring.
The biggest problem I have with this, about a year ago, our tag division was amazing. You had the Usos, you had the Shield, you had the Real Americans, you had 3MB, tons of Funk, Cody Rhodes, Goldust. We had 6 or 7 really good tag teams. Now we're down to what? Ryback and part of the Shield, the Wyatt family, and the Usos. That's it. You can't have a tag division with 4 teams.
Well, and Goldust and whoever Cody Rhodes picks out for him that week.
I'm excited to see when that explodes, because it's going to be a big explosion. They're kindling the fire just enough so that there's that big boom.
And it's looking more and more like Goldust is the one getting frustrated, because Cody Rhodes he dissolved the tag team, but he did it in a respectable way.
I'm actually excited about tonight, because tonight Cody's going to pick a tag team partner for Goldust, and apparently Goldust has never worked with this guy. And he's supposed to be really good, so I'm wondering if they're gonna pull somebody up, or if they're gonna bring somebody back, or if it's gonna be somebody,
brand new.
You never know. It's the WWE.
It would be awesome if you chose Sami Zayn,
right?
Or
well, what would be even funnier?
Tyler Breeze.
What would be even funnier is if Cody Rhodes came on with a mask, dressed like a luchador with a mask, and then they won the match. And, then he realized, and then he could pull off the mask and be like, you are the problem, not me, kind of thing. It'll be interesting to see how they do it.
Yeah, it will. But back to what I was talking about earlier, though.
Not a whole lot.
The whole Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. You as well. We had a quick guest in our studio audience, so just bear with us.
Yeah. The Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal thing, though, Chris Jericho actually offered up thoughts on why Drew McIntyre was released this past week when on his Talk Is Jericho podcast, which that's one of those where if you're not listening to Stone Cold's podcast, then what the fuck are you doing? If you're listening to us, listen to them. He offered up these thoughts. He said, I think he got sidetracked when he got married to Taryn. I don't think that worked out too well for him politically. And once again, once you're in 3MB, it's kind of the end of the line. It's funny that Heath Slater, out of all the guys, is the one that stayed. But if I was TNA or Ring of Honor or Global Wrestling Force, I would pick up Drew McIntyre as well. Absolutely. He would be another guy that would be on my instant list, along with Evan Bourne.
And you could even pull Mahal with him, and then you have an immediate tag team, because
they already have chemistry.
People that watch Ring of Honor, people that watch TNA, most likely they watch the WWE as well.
Well, it's like anywhere Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin go. They got the working chemistry.
WWE already worked on that. Mm-hmm. Bam, take advantage of that.
Yeah, and Jericho said, because I think Drew has a lot to offer and he's unique, and he's got the Scottish accent.
Oh, absolutely.
He says, put him in a suit and make him serious. All you have to do is have him come out and beat up guys for a month, and you would forget right away about the whole 3MB thing. Gimmicks like that don't damage your career, but they definitely hurt it, and they needed to get out of it, and they needed a fresh start.
Absolutely.
So
a few more names on that list. Yoshitatsu, which, that's not Yoshi's fault. The WWE has had a very bad history with booking Japanese wrestlers. Look at Tajiri.
absolutely.
He was always mid-card, and I think he could have easily gone on to be, top tier, because I loved the guy. That green mist.
Oh, that was
and followed with that buzzsaw kick.
The buzzsaw kick and the tarantula on the ropes.
Yeah, and then his little his springboard thing, where he did that little handstand thing and then bounced off the rings and then back with the elbow. He was a very gifted wrestler.
Oh, and every Royal Rumble that he was in, that tarantula would come into play. Someone try and throw him out in the ring, and he'd knock in that tarantula, and then usually someone bigger would knock out both people. But still, it was
still exciting.
It was fun to watch. That was that era's Kofi Kingston.
What sells is entertainment. They don't care about... some people will care about the most gifted wrestler. Most people want to see a show, though. They want to see excitement.
Oh, yeah.
They want to see somebody who's going to go risk their body to go put on a hell of a show and probably break a few ribs doing it.
Well, and that's one of those things that they just... but, yeah, you're right. They do have a big problem with... It's not just Japanese wrestlers. Anymore, it's any guy that's new. You look at Adam Rose.
Mm-hmm.
He worked great on NXT on the small stage. You bring him up, and they brought him up the wrong way.
Well, and also the problem with that is SCW, or now NXT, is a small community. It's the same people coming every time.
Yeah.
It's easy to get attached to somebody. It's easy to win them over when you've been watching them every time. You go to a new place, people are like, who the hell is this guy? Is he serious? What they need to do, they need to not focus on their gimmick. They need to focus on the wrestling first, and then bring the gimmick in.
Absolutely.
And if you can do both at the same time, perfect.
But they've
Bo Dallas.
been focusing so much on the gimmick of Adam Rose. They've been focusing so much on Bo Dallas's inspiration,
right.
which that's sort of working for him. They're keeping him, at least he's wrestling more than one person on the main roster.
And he's also not dominating them. He's building a small, steady push.
Yeah,
if you can call it a push. At this moment, he's 7-0. He's beaten Sin Cara, Kofi Kingston, Santino. Who else?
He's beaten a couple of them, just a couple of times.
But in his first 7 matches, that's a pretty decent cross section.
Yeah, that's pretty decent. The ones that he's beaten are all former champions, I believe.
Mm-hmm. At one point, in one stage or another, I think he beat.
Because Sin Cara.
He's held the Intercontinental, I think, or the United States. He's held one of the mid-card titles.
No. I thought he wasn't he with Rey Mysterio tag team champion.
Yes, he was. He was. Except for that was the real Sin Cara, not Hunico. But either way, the character.
Even though when you go further back, Hunico was the first Sin Cara in Mexico. So
exactly.
So now we actually have the original Sin Cara.
Anyway, what was I going to say? I can't even. I lost track. Well, but no, the last name on the list should not be a surprise to anybody. JTG is finally unemployed.
Yeah.
He's been with the company for 4 years and not been on TV.
Yeah, it's been. Yeah, that's. But yeah.
Once they got rid of Shad, Crime Time fell apart. JTG is not a singles competitor.
Yeah.
He never has.
I was surprised that he was still with them. I just assumed that they had gotten rid of him, and I just didn't get that press release. But whatever. That's one that I'm not. I'm more upset that you kept him on this long,
right?
Than I am that he's gone. But yeah, back to then. Bleacher Report, which is where we get a lot of our stuff. If you
shout outs to Bleacher Report.
Absolutely, some of the best reporting in the wrestling industry. They recently did a story about how WWE is bringing in their new people, bringing in their new talent. The first first sentence, well, the first two sentences are, WWE have a method they use for most of their debuting superstars that has remained unchanged for a few decades.
Mm-hmm.
That is a problem.
Absolutely, you got to change it up. You got to reflect the time change.
Yeah. Basically, it's all video packages for several weeks, up until they finally debut, they finally make their premiere on the main roster.
And see, the bad thing about that, you build somebody up, and if they don't, that puts a lot of pressure on the talent.
And if they don't
deliver, you just wasted several weeks.
Yeah. It says they usually have several more weeks of short squash matches before being put into a real feud with someone in the middle of the card.
What they need to do, what they did with John Cena. Nobody had heard of him before.
Yep.
He came in, challenged Kurt Angle on the spot.
Yeah,
he lost.
One of the top guys lost, but in a way that gave him instant credibility.
Exactly, he lost, but he still lost. He didn't lose clean. I mean, he did lose clean, but he lost in it was like a, took advantage of a small rookie mistake.
Yeah, it was a small, it was
a very small rookie mistake.
It was a first match that had big name power in it to give the guy instant credibility. Give the guy, everyone wants to know, okay, who is this guy? I know he just introduced himself as John Cena, but who is this guy? The guy's, and have him lose, that way the big time star doesn't lose any face or any momentum, but have him lose in a way that, like, the Undertaker's going to shake your hand backstage.
I actually saw an interview. He said that's one of his greatest moments is getting that recognition from the Undertaker.
Well, immediately out of the gate.
Exactly. He's like, you had that happen to me like 3 or 4 years down the line. It wouldn't have been as big of a deal. It was my first encounter, and immediately, I'm getting everybody congratulating me. And the Undertaker walks up and says, you did a good job out there. And I was, that to me, if that was me, I would be like, holy shit, the Undertaker just shook my hand.
It's like I can retire now.
Right. But that's okay.
But yeah, all the video packages and the squash matches, and then finally putting them into a lower feud. That may have worked in the 80s, they say, but it's no longer the best way to bring a new superstar onto the main roster.
See, okay, let's look at all the recent one, the newest ones. Bray Wyatt. You remember they did the video packages for a while. Who did he go after first?
He went
Kane.
Right after Kane. Right after Kane,
a big time superstar.
Well,
and he beat Kane at SummerSlam a month later.
But I can't really put Bray Wyatt in the category of what they're doing here with their newer talent.
What I'm saying is that's what they need to do.
Yeah, well, sort of. And the reason Bray Wyatt was successful, though, is because his gimmick was so spot on.
Oh, and absolutely.
And he's so sold. And they brought in, not just him, but they brought in Harper and Rowan. He already had a following.
And see, Harper and Rowan had to build themselves a reputation, whereas Bray Wyatt kind of sort of already had himself one.
Well, and they had themselves one in NXT, but when they finally debuted on Raw, it was beautiful. But that was because they have something very special with that gimmick.
Oh, absolutely.
They have something that is once in a lifetime.
It's bizarre.
That gimmick.
You can't ever do it again.
Yeah, and
you can come close, but you can't do it just like that.
Because they have struck gold, they will never get rid of it for those characters. I don't feel.
Oh, absolutely.
They will never repackage Bray Wyatt.
Definitely not.
They may repackage Harper and Rowan at some point in the future, but it's going to take a lot of work to do. Adam Rose, though, he's still got potential, but no one really is paying attention to
him. He needs a different gimmick.
Bo Dallas is probably the best example of why the method no longer works they talk about. They say Dallas had several weeks of very original vignettes before he finally showed up, but by the end of his first promo on WWE television, hopes of a great initial run were crushed. Dallas has proved in NXT that he has great wrestling chops to be a star.
His mic skills need work, though.
But his mic work has been lacking since he first arrived on the scene, they say.
There we go.
And quite frankly, I don't want to even go into how poorly handled Xavier Woods' debut was, because I'll just get angry. And they had it right for a little while. The debuts of The Shield, the Wyatt family, They were all done
The Shield
the
they
best
didn't have,
possible.
and the Shield they didn't promote it at all.
The Wyatts were brought in with intense video packages, not the kind of "don't be a rosebud."
Don't be a
rosebud.
The Wyatt stuff was all creepy. It's like if you'd never heard of the Wyatt family, like I'd never heard of the Wyatt family until I saw those vignettes. I was like, ooh, these guys will be good.
Yeah, the Wyatt
that's
family
creepy.
vignettes
Holy cow.
reminded me of when Undertaker was coming back, for WrestleMania after being gone for so long. The whole "ain't no grave can hold my body down."
Right. Well, and what I thought was cool, I was like, I'm definitely not going to Louisiana or anything that resembles a bayou for a while because I don't want to run into these guys. It brings, you gotta spook the audience. You gotta intrigue the audience.
It was very intense. The Shield, they came clean out of the blue.
And triple power went right back into that.
I know,
table.
absolutely.
While we're talking about the Shield and Ryback, I actually saw another meme, and they were interviewing Ryback, and it's like, the Shield's gone. What does that mean for you? It means no more triple power bombs. That'll be the one thing I missed from the Shield is the triple power bomb.
Not the one thing, but one of the many things I'm gonna miss from.
That's the main thing, though. If I had to pick one thing, that would be it.
Yeah. And they were both, and you hit on it earlier, the thing that made both of their debuts special is they were put in with top caliber performers.
Exactly.
Bray Wyatt was put right into a program with Kane. Shield, they spent several months headlining pay-per-views against random groups of main event stars.
That couldn't beat them.
Yeah, they were all immediately over.
It was 5 months before they were even beaten.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't, and it wasn't squash matches. It was lengthy 20-minute matches or so.
Absolutely, it was.
And it took Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, and Kane, which when two of them were cohesive. Kane and Daniel Bryan were still tag team champions at the time.
And Randy Orton just gave that little bit of a unhinged factor. It was the method of using squash matches worked back when fans were just happy seeing baby faces win. But today's wrestling fans are more educated and desire a better and more entertaining product. Nobody benefits from a match that lasts less than a minute. It might make a new superstar look dominant in the eyes of a younger fan, but that is not what anyone over the age of 12 wants today. I mean, and the possible exception of that is guys like Biggie Langston, guys like Rusev. Because that is their gimmick, is you can't stop this monster.
And even Big E didn't really start out, unbeatable.
They brought him in as a rookie with.
And he was heavy. He was somebody's heavy, which is another. That's a way that works. You get somebody to come help you, and then let him showcase what he can do outside of a match, just protecting you. And then when he gets to the match, then you can people like, yeah, he can do something. I want to see what he can do outside the ring now, though. Because if you like, I really don't. This guy doesn't really look all that great. If you're invested in the guy when he makes his first big performance, then you're like, yeah, this guy. I'm sold on this guy.
Yep. They talk about how fans now they want matches that have exciting spots, lots of action, and something we've never seen before.
Exactly.
We want intriguing. We want Shield versus Wyatt family moments.
Oh, absolutely.
We want intriguing storylines, better feuds, and entertaining promos. What we don't want are guys like Zack Ryder and Justin Gabriel losing to new talent in less time than it takes for both superstars to make their entrance. It makes the established talent look weak and does nothing to sell the crowd on the new guy. It just doesn't work anymore.
Especially when they use the same people to put over talent.
Like, absolutely.
It was always 3MB, or it was always Xavier Woods, or it's always those low tier people.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could beat somebody who hasn't won a match in 6 months. Big fucking deal.
And what works even less than that, they mentioned, is local jobbers.
Exactly.
Wrestling fans don't pay to see people they have never heard of and never will see again.
I beg to differ,
a guy who might not even get over.
I play SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, having contract jobbers, perfect. But that's a video game, so it doesn't really work in real life.
It's perfect, but in a video game. Look at Ryback. His initial push included him facing local talent for several weeks, even on pay-per-views, which is great for the local talent. Don't get me wrong, that's great for them.
They get a pay-per-view. They get a pay-per-view check.
They get checks. nowhere near what the big name guys, nowhere near what Ryback was getting. But still, they're getting checks. He might have even looked cool getting two guys up for shell-shocked at the same time, but that doesn't stop the Goldberg chants from echoing all throughout the arenas all over the country. WWE have evolved in a lot of ways over the years. They were the first promotion to go national, embrace the internet, and utilize pay-per-view as a way of business. But their ways of bringing up new talent are so outdated they feel like they should come with 100 free hours of AOL. And then they actually talk about that internet. They say even more to that point, we now have a way of seeing new talent we have never had before. WWE used to have developmental territories in Kentucky with OVW, and Florida with FCW. While local markets had access to their TV shows, the rest of us had no way of seeing the next crop of superstars. Now we have NXT. And if you have the WWE Network, then you already have a way of seeing guys like Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn hone their skills before being called up to the main roster. By the time someone debuts, they may already have a big following among WWE fans from that exposure. Why waste time with squash matches?
Exactly. And see, the thing is, like once they've damaged somebody's ring credibility like that, it takes a lot to bring them back up. Like Ryback. You know how much work it would take for him to get into a World Heavyweight Championship scene?
I don't think it's going to happen for years. I do think he's definitely got the potential. He showed me at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he showed me Mark Henry.
He showed me in their title match against the Usos. Ryback is an awesome guy. Curtis Axel, I believe, could get there.
But it's all about booking.
They've been so heavily...
Because the championship depends on how behind the crowd the superstar is.
Yeah.
Or how behind the superstar crowd is.
Yeah.
You get a guy that nobody likes or nobody is excited about, they're not going to put him in there. Yeah. I mean, you can't say nobody likes because that's what a heel is. But you got to have somebody that's going to get a good reaction. Whether that's heavy boos or heavy... You can't have like, it has to be like the entire arena is booing you out of the building. That is a good heel champion.
Yeah. Well, and they go on to say not every debuting superstar needs to be facing John Cena or Randy Orton. But there's no reason to wait several months before giving them a real program.
Yeah.
It's just and the new talent, that might be one of the reasons why stock's falling.
Exactly. McMahon's lost $1 billion in the last couple months.
Yeah.
You got any more flash topics, or you ready to do the Power 25?
Just possible list. At Bleacher Report, they mentioned 4 possible scenarios for a swerve at Money in the Bank. We all know Money in the Bank's great at swerves.
Absolutely.
2011, we absolutely knew that there was no way in hell that they were going to let John Cena lose the WWE championship to CM Punk before CM Punk left the company at midnight. There was no way in hell that was going to happen, and we knew for a fact that it wasn't going to happen because we knew that Vince McMahon was involved, and he didn't let Brett do it. He damn sure wasn't going to let CM Punk do it. It is after CM Punk said that the company would be better off if he were dead. Nah, that's not going to fly with Mr. McMahon.
Absolutely not.
And what ends up happening?
Punk wins.
It's because Cena's too much of a fucking good guy. Punk wins.
Exactly.
Cena has too much honor.
He's got he's got Punk in the STF, and McMahon's trying to get them to ring the bell. He can't see. Laurinaitis goes in. He goes in and punches Laurinaitis. Says, "No, we do this my way."
And as soon as he slides back into the ring, he stands up, gets caught in the GTS,
and bam, that's it.
And 3 count later, and it was a good 3 count. The referee even hesitated just a little bit before the 3. John Cena was out.
I think the best part of that entire pay-per-view was when Punk blows a kiss to McMahon's like, "I'm leaving with your title, bitch."
The kiss heard around the world. But yeah, Money in the Bank's known for big swerves like that. It's a great pay-per-view for stuff like that because there's so much drama. We've got someone getting a guaranteed title shot, or this year someone getting the title. Which
my money's on Randy Orton though.
I don't like it.
I don't either. But my money's on Randy Orton. Unless somebody else gets in there, like Bray Wyatt, he could do it, but I don't know if he's quite ready to hold that belt because his character isn't really a championship drawn. Not really.
Yeah. Well, he's never gone after any.
And he's never had a belt as of right now. Having him get the big one right now, there's only one way to go, and that's down.
Yeah, he's a great performer.
And then you got
I don't like.
Then you got Sheamus, who's already holding a championship.
Yeah, he's definitely not.
Three titles at 3 belts at once. No, that's not a good idea. Cesaro, he's a good pick. I think because he's with Paul Heyman now, it would be really good because the crowd is so behind this guy.
Yeah, and they're not going to put it on Cena.
Yeah, they definitely won't. Even if he's not officially in the match yet. I mean, there's still a couple weeks to go. There's 2 spots left in that match. So far, you got you got Randy Orton, Cesaro, Sheamus, Del Rio, and Bray Wyatt. Del Rio would be a good one to put it on because, he had a lackluster World Heavyweight Championship reign this last time, but that's just because of the competition he was going up against. There was nobody there.
And he
went against RVD, a part-timer, for God's sakes. And the only way for them to make that feud exciting was, 1, the first match, Del Rio loses or retains by disqualification, and 2, they have to add a hardcore stipulation into a match that favors RVD. They got to make him look weak as a champion. As a heel, you can't do that. You can't make the heel look weak.
Yeah, you've got to keep the heel strong, otherwise no one pays attention.
Because in every part of literature, the bad guy, the evil force, is always huge and dominant, and you always focus on the negatives of the good guy, the protagonist, and that's what tells a good story.
Yeah, because you need to have the hero actually have something to overcome.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's just he may be a hero, but he's just doing everyday shit. Waking up, scratching his ass, taking care of just everyday shit, doing his taxes, whatever. If there's nothing to overcome, he's not a hero. But they mentioned possible swerves. The 4th one that they mentioned, like number 4 on the list, they said probably not likely to happen, and I agree with them. It's not likely to happen. But it would be very interesting having Paul Heyman's client, his other client that he loves to talk about, Brock Lesnar.
He's like, which one? He loves to talk about them both.
He does love to talk about both of them, but have his heart, his real client.
Right.
Brock Lesnar steal someone's spot and win the WWE Championship. No, that's not likely to happen.
My question there, as the 5 people already in, whose spot is most likely to get taken?
Cesaro's.
I think that'd be funny as hell. Because that would set up a feud for the title. Mm-hmm. Or even if he doesn't win the belt, he's still the spot. Cesaro could go in, use that little neutralizer on Brock Lesnar, kick Heyman to the curb, and then bam,
go full on babyface,
which is what they've been wanting. Then you got Brock Lesnar and Cesaro in a hell of a feud that Cesaro doesn't even have to win. He just has to look strong in it. Especially because that's the guy that beat The Undertaker's streak. You go toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar, as small as that guy is, oh my god, magic.
Well, it worked perfectly just a year ago. The only problem is we just saw it a year ago with CM Punk.
Yeah, but CM Punk was already a top-tier talent, though.
I understand. He's already a top-tier talent. There's a little bit more, on the line with Cesaro. It would help Cesaro get over, but Cesaro's already so over. He's not quite worked his way up to top tier, but he's definitely getting there.
There's a lot of good stuff that could happen with that. That'd be interesting. If that ends up happening, it'd be interesting.
It would be interesting.
But it's not likely.
Brock Lesnar's a part-timer. He doesn't do ladder matches. Also, he's a part-timer. He doesn't do house shows, and they won't put the titles on him. The third on the list was let's see, what was third on the list?
Wasn't it the Shield?
The Shield getting a new member. Which that would be cool.
The only question is who.
Yeah,
there's several
so
people that come to mind. Which you can't put. I was hoping Evan Bourne but I didn't know about the whole drug test thing.
Yeah,
or wellness test thing. Whatever.
Yeah, Evan Bourne.
He would have been good. That jacket on him, that little flak vest. Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious.
It wouldn't work necessarily. Someone like Justin Gabriel, he already has the looks for it, and it would give him instant credibility. But they've already buried him on freaking Superstars and Main Event. So
bring somebody you haven't buried yet. Bring somebody new like
Sami Zayn. Possibly, but still that feels.
Have you seen his finishing move? Oh. That little powerbomb thing. He picks him up from behind and then he flips him around and powerbombs him. Like first time I ever saw that, I had to rewind and watch it because I was like, holy shit, look at that.
Yeah, Sami Zayn, he's awesome. He's strong. He's good. But I feel like it would be too reminiscent of Rollins. You need someone who can bring the high flying aspect. However, Ambrose already has a lot of that himself. Not quite as much as Rollins
then you bring a mix.
You
bring a mix of both Reigns and Ambrose, which could, yes, it would be, it'd probably take a little bit of spotlight from Reigns and Ambrose, but then it sets up another feud. Okay, maybe that third member is just the X Factor. Maybe, then they turn on Sami Zayn, which would help elevate those two as well. You just gotta.
There's so many different possibilities, but it would be an interesting one to watch if they choose to add a third member to the Shield. UFC, I don't know if she's still the women's champion.
I think she is.
But Ronda Rousey,
smoking,
gorgeous, and has always talked about how big a fan of Roman Reigns she is, just like every woman ever.
Oh, you're Roman Reigns? Allow me to drop my panties. Speaking of Roman Reigns, have you seen the Father's Day ad with him in it?
No, I haven't.
Doesn't he make the most adorable dad? It's hilarious because you see a male woman. She's going to deliver mail, and you see Roman Reigns. He's holding his arm up, he's almost like he's flexing. But then you see him kind of tip over, like he's doing "I'm a Little Teapot." And then they show inside the house him and his daughter. They're doing "I'm a Little Teapot."
Was it a WWE?
It was a WWE commercial. It was like a Father's Day thing.
I didn't see that.
He gets down. And then they're having a tea party. And they clink glasses, and then he's like, "Make sure you have your pinky out." He's like the most adorable dad I've ever seen. It's awesome. And it goes to show you that
another man adorable there, Fish.
You know what? I mean, as a guy who potentially wants to be a dad, that's the kind of dad I want people to be like, dude, that's a good dad. He's the kind of guy. He's not afraid to be like, oh, I look like a sissy because I'm a little teapot.
Well, that being said, Roman Reigns isn't afraid to look like a sissy because it's impossible for Roman Reigns to look like a sissy.
Exactly. I mean, you're calling me a sissy? Let me introduce you to my friend called the Superman Punch. Bam! I'll follow it up by a spear.
It's like you can't make that guy look weak.
That's why I think
you can make him look relatable.
Exactly, and that's
every guy has that soft spot.
Of all of the ads I saw, that was my favorite. The only other one I saw was Del Rio. He was practicing telling bedtime stories, and he was practicing on Santino. He was like, "Yeah," and then he tells the bedtime story to his son, and his son just got the biggest cheesy grin. It was kind of cool.
Del Rio. Everyone loves to hate on him. It's
you gotta admit he's probably one of the best dads out there.
He's probably a pretty good guy. I think he'd be a pretty cool one to hang around with, in person, just backstage.
Oh yeah,
sans character. But the second on their list, number 2 on their list, is what I think would be the best option for them to go with. So I'm going to save that for last. The last one they come with is Sheamus making a heel turn, which has been sort of predicted because his face run it's kind of lackluster.
Right, and then also one of the things they look into as far as champions doing face turns and heel turns how many champions are babyface, how many are heel. At one point, I remember when the Rhodes won, it was all heel champions. You had Randy Orton, WWE champion. You had Del Rio, World Heavyweight champion. Intercontinental champion was Curtis Axel. U.S. champion was Dean Ambrose, who was still a heel at the time. AJ Lee was the Divas champion. He had the other two members of the Shield, all heels. So
they needed someone
McMahon was like,
wanted to cheer for.
We need a babyface champion. Bam, give it to the Rhodes. And so, as we look at it now, Paige is a babyface. You've got Barrett is not really a babyface. He's kind of a heel, but people love him. You got Sheamus, a babyface. You have a vacant World Heavyweight Championship, and then the Usos, babyface. So, all but one championship so far is held by a heel.
Well, and Barrett, you can't call him a true heel either.
Exactly.
He's sort of he's taking on sort of CM Punk's role as the bad guy who you love to cheer on.
Oh, yeah. I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Everyone loves the bad news, Barrett. Everyone loves that. And you can tell that WWE knows that everybody loves that because
they made him
Barrett's got new shirts.
Exactly, and they made him defend his championship 3 times in 1 week.
And he won.
That's a great way to reward the fans. Oh, you love this guy? Okay, I'll let you watch him defend his championship 3 times.
Yeah,
and he'll win every time.
Yeah, and he defends his championship a lot. He does the gimmick, but
I think he's in his
pyro that they give him. They give him pyro. They give him pyro in his entrance,
which costs money.
That's something they don't do for Zack Ryder. They don't do that for Sin Cara. Not anymore.
I don't even think they do it for Kofi anymore.
They don't. Very rarely. Very rarely do you ever see Kofi Kingston's entrance televised anymore.
I remember when I went to go watch Raw in December, he was still getting that done, and I'm going to tell you, that stuff was loud. I was ready for it, and it still shocked the hell out of me.
But yeah, that would be awesome to see Sheamus turn heel. They said Sheamus turn heel against John Cena, but that's a feud we've seen multiple times. I'd just like to see him turn heel. Keep the character interesting.
Because then you can get baby faces coming after him.
Yeah, and then the last one that they mentioned.
This one's good.
To me, it works out perfectly. So we all know that the main title, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, is still being represented by 2 belts. Both of which will be hung above the ring, which competitors will be trying to grab both of them to become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Who's to say that one competitor won't come down with one, and someone else will come down with the other belt? Who's the champion? I'm not saying split up the championship right now. They just unified it. TLC. They may be tiring of having just the one champion. That's a possibility that they may be growing tired of that.
But at the same time, you don't have the contenders.
They don't have the
and plus, if you split the belts apart, that kills the prestige of both of them.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer the big one; it's one of the big ones.
But if you have 2 people each walk away with a belt, it ends the show in a cliffhanger. You've got an instant match at SummerSlam, which another reason they mentioned Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar's been penciled in sort of for a match for the championship with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan isn't cleared to compete, or if they aren't comfortable that he will be cleared to compete in time, then...
And plus, I don't even think they have the time to set it up anymore as it is, because let's say Bryan probably won't be able to compete until at least the week after, which means another week after that he'll get a rematch, and then another rematch, and then it'll be time for the pay-per-view. Yeah, there's not enough time to do anything with that storyline, so it'll probably be a while before they give the belt back to Bryan, if they do.
I don't have any doubt that he's going to get his belt back.
Unless he really is a splash in the pan like everybody has been thinking he might be. Because, what if the new champion is selling out arenas better than Bryan would have?
The power of
There's a lot of things to do.
The power of the Yes movement would indicate otherwise.
Well, that's
but the yes movement only works with him not as champion.
Exactly.
Once he's champion, the yes movement's accomplished their missions, and the crowd reaction hasn't quite been as rambunctious for him as of late. You put him back as a contender, and you'll get that instant reaction back. Especially after him having it stripped away from him, having his wife quit so that he could take the belts, and then having it stripped away from him.
Then I think that point with two people having each belt, and then you do a unification, it wouldn't be unification, it would be an undisputed championship match. Who is the undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Championship? Which that is such a freaking mouthful, though.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, but it was when we first started, and that's what everyone was thinking when we got the whole WWE World Heavyweight Champion. We were like, what pissed me off about that? I like WWE Championship. I like the World Heavyweight Champion. I don't want to combine the two just like that.
What pissed me off, though, when I went to Raw, they had a vote on the WWE app. What do you think it should be called? And it was called the unified, or the unified championship, the undisputed championship, or the WWE World Title, the WWE World Championship. None of those things ever they fuck what the WWE Universe says. We're gonna call it the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I'm like, why'd you even fucking ask us if we were just gonna go? That pissed me off.
Maybe they wanted. See, now I just like the WWE World Title.
I think the WWE World Championship, because you can't even go with the heavyweight championship because anybody's eligible for it. You could be 5'0", weigh 125 pounds if you were able to, wrestle and beat the guy.
Yeah,
you deserve to be a champion.
Look at Rey Mysterio. I mean, Rey Mysterio, they had to change the name of the World Heavyweight Championship, and then when he lost, they changed it back to World Heavyweight Championship. Just don't throw a heavyweight in there.
The WWE World Championship.
You know why you don't want to throw World Heavyweight in there? They don't have Cruiserweight Championship anymore.
Exactly, and the WWE World Championship is kind of redundant because the first W is World Wrestling Entertainment World Championship. But
to me, it would have been best to because when they unified the titles, they kept the new title, keeps the history line of the WWE Championship, going back through the WWF Championship, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation Championship, going all the way back to the time during the promos when they started talking about unifying them, they going all the way back, to the time when those two belts split up. It's taking the line of the one that they've had throughout all the years that Stone Cold held, for so many times. The Undertaker, The Rock feuded with Stone Cold. The one that Mankind held 3 times.
Yes.
It's awesome. For that they kept that. Why put World Heavyweight Championship in that? Just keep it the WWE Championship.
Exactly.
If you're just going to keep the one championship, just make it the WWE Championship.
Especially because they just got a new belt, and they spent quite a bit of money probably putting it together.
Yeah. It was.
You can retire the World Heavyweight Championship belt, and nobody's probably going to get pissed off.
I do love seeing that belt.
It is cool looking. I will admit.
The big gold belt is awesome. As a WCW fan growing up, that's the one that Bill Goldberg held. That's the one Hulk Hogan held so many times. I mean, he held the other belt in its lineage, but he's never held on to the new WWE Championship belt. He held the big gold belt. That's the one that everybody sees. Everybody is, because it hasn't changed throughout the years. To me, if I were going to retire one of the belts, that would be the one that I keep. That being said, it doesn't have WWE on it. Like it does, but it doesn't.
Exactly.
So,
the WWE Championship belt has the WWE right on the front.
And I like it. It's a beautiful looking belt.
It's better than the one Cena had.
It's so much better than the spinner belt. It's got a lot of prestige. I love that belt. I'd say keep that. And I think if they split up, like if they have one man grab each, like two men each grab the belt, then that will force them into realizing, oh shit, we're going to have the Undisputed Championship match at SummerSlam. And then whoever, after that, we're just going to cut it down to one. That way we don't have this any other
time.
Or later on this year at TLC.
Right.
Freaking, because that would just be terrible to have ladder matches and have two belts hanging, and it almost gets you thinking, what happens if Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon? What would have happened if they had each grabbed a belt?
Right. Then we're in the same boat we were in before that happened.
Yeah, it's like, that's pointless.
You accomplished nothing. Way to go.
It's like, we just watched a match, and no one... If the match was to determine a champion,
we still
match
is
over.
Champion.
We don't have a champion.
We had two. That can't happen.
It's like we just watched a match to see who would be. It's like the Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton match last year. That Big Show came out and was interfered in.
Right, and we still have a champion. That's why that pay-per-view tanked.
That match was just to crown a champion. Just to crown a champion. And we didn't have a champion at the end of the match. It was terrible. But yeah, I think this is an interesting storyline because this doesn't give you we have no champion. This gives you, we have two champions. Which is still a problem, but it's a more interesting problem than we don't have a champion still.
Because if you don't have a champion, all 7 people that were in there have a right to say, well, I was in the championship match and there's still no champion, so I get a shot at it again, right?
Yeah. It narrows the field down to 2, and whoever the 2 are, instant match at SummerSlam, and it's gonna be a great feud.
And then each person can still add that they were the WWE World Heavyweight Champion to their resume.
Yeah. Unless they do the whole, I was one half of the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
It's like, which half? Doesn't matter.
Shut up. I was late cool for a while.
Alright, she ready for the Power 25 then?
Absolutely.
Alright, the first 4 I'm just going to run through real quick because they literally did nothing the entire week. Big Show.
Sorry.
Well, he's not that far down. He did drop. Big Show, didn't do nothing. Didn't see him. Los Matadors, didn't see them. Kane, didn't see them. Natalia, she's at the top of this list because she was at least in action the week before. That's 22 to 25.
Why is Big Show still on there? When was the last time he did anything?
Well, he did have a match last. Well, he didn't have a match. He knocked out Sando last Monday.
Yeah.
And when I say last Monday, I mean 2 weeks ago today. And then on SmackDown that week, he lost to Orton via disqualification. Yeah. Or he beat Orton via disqualification. So that's why he stayed on the list.
Yeah. But then.
And there's also nobody I can bring up from the 25th spot. Yeah. Like that's. I might have to start making a Power 20.
No. Keep it Power 25. If Sami Zayn outperforms Big Show, Sami Zayn's on the list.
I might have to start putting the NXT superstars on here. Absolutely. Okay, so number 21, Jack Swagger, drops down from 23. Or he moves up from 23 because nobody else did anything else. He lost to Big E on SmackDown. That's all he did. Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox, holy shit.
Oh my god, Alicia Fox.
She lost to Paige.
Person.
She lost to Paige on Raw, then managed to flip the hell out on Oksana. Throwing popcorn in her face, water bottle, like... Oksana was petrified.
She threw a BF.
oh my god, she's gonna throw a BF. Oh, BF, what's that? A bitch fit. Great movie, by the way. I like that reference.
That's what she did. It's totally what she did.
She really did, and like I love it because on SmackDown it was Oksana versus Alicia Fox, and every time she either wins or she loses, she has the same fucking reaction. She flips out, and Michael Cole pointed that out. It's like, and then JBL was like, yeah, if she wins, she's gonna go crazy. If she loses, she's gonna go crazy. Either way, my hat is in jeopardy. I love it.
He's got a very good point.
He's more excited. He's more worried about his hat than the match, which is funny.
Well, to be fair, he spends a lot of money on those hats.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's again. We're sorry to see Oksana go like that.
I know. I mean, that's the last image we're gonna have of her is her getting embarrassed.
And there's no reason to say that she won't be re-signed at some point.
Oh no, I mean,
because she really was. She was a good. She was one of the last dominant strength divas that we had. I mean, we got rid of Beth Phoenix. Really, the only one we still have now is Natalya.
Mm-hmm. And she is, still at the bottom tier. Like, there's 3 divas on Power 25 because our divas division is falling apart. Like, we don't see very many divas matches.
We don't have divas division. We have Paige.
We have Paige.
Alicia
everybody
Fox,
else
Natalya.
That's not in Total Divas, and then Total Divas.
Yeah.
Because the Total Divas people, they get close to the title, but they never touch it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they think, well, you're on Total Divas, you don't need the exposure.
They need to rework it. Now, WWE did recently hold a women's wrestling camp.
Mm-hmm.
It was most of the invites went out to modeling agencies.
Eva Marie all over again, holy shit.
Not necessarily. Maybe they're going to actually train these ones.
Let's hope so.
Instead of, hey, you're cute, let's put you in something green.
I won't lie though.
Sexy as hell.
From a performer standpoint, she's terrible. But as a person, I watch Total Divas, and you can't help but kind of like, what? She's actually a pretty cool person, and she's trying. She's doing what she can, but she didn't work through the indies. She got her job because she's beautiful, which I don't think is a great idea. But all the divas they've learned to get close to her. They know that she starts trouble, but she doesn't start trouble nearly as much as like Summer Rae or Cameron. Cameron, oh my god, she's a fucking diva. Like, she's a drama queen. Like, it's awful.
They've all sort of, they understand that she wants to learn. They haven't given her an opportunity to learn.
And maybe they're keeping, and I haven't seen her on TV in a while. Like, the last time I saw her on TV was right after the episode aired on Total Divas where they were in a tag match together and, Summer Rae wouldn't tag her in. That was the last time I saw her. Maybe they're giving her some time to go hone her skills, which she definitely needs.
And if they bring her back and she's good, or at least decent.
And see, they also need to cut back on her schedule because she is like the face of the Divas division. Like, she's the ass. She's the thing the guys look at.
She really is.
Because they don't care. They make her do so many photo shoots and everything. She doesn't have time to go work on her ring skills. That's what they need to do. They need to give her some time to work on her ring skills. Hire her a personal trainer. Let her, work on the weights, work on the moves, everything, because you have to have that, or else you're not a diva.
And a lot of people are worried about, having, just a bunch more Eva Maries, because a lot of these, like, there were a few that, were indie women's wrestlers, but most of the invites were to, the modeling agencies. Now, keep in mind.
Now, if you're going to do a WCW Nitro Girls thing, that'd be great, because then you need divas or models that can dance. You don't need them to be in the ring. That was the best part about Nitro. You had the Nitro Girls. They didn't wrestle. They went and shook their ass for 20 seconds and then.
But keep in mind, wrestlers like Tori Wilson, wrestlers like Layla, wrestlers like who's the first ever female inductee into the World Wrestling Entertainment Hall of Fame.
Who?
Oh, come on. My first wifey.
Trish Stratus?
Yes.
No, Mae Young was before her.
No.
Your wife.
Mae Young. Oh.
Mark Henry already.
I'm a widow. I completely forgot about Mae Young.
Oh my god, that just made my day, y'all.
Anyway.
Oh, shit.
So, but no, Trish Stratus.
I was about to, because I thought you were like, are you sure? Are you sure it was Trish Stratus? No, it was Mae Young. Either Mae Young or the Fabulous Moolah. I don't know if Moolah's in there yet or not.
Did they?
Are
they in the Hall of Fame?
I know Mae Young is, because they showed her induction speech when she passed away. She's like, I'm proud to be here on my 82nd birthday or whatever. I hope to be here on my 100th birthday, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if Moolah has been.
I'm sorry to Mae Young. Rest in peace. I completely forgot about you. But
you were just after the ass.
Trish Stratus.
Sorry.
She started out. She didn't work her way up through the indies. She was brought in because she was a pretty face.
But look how good she was.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're gonna try to do, because sometimes you can find hidden talent in somebody.
Yeah. Well, and you think of the last season of Tough Enough, the one that they had on USA after.
Was it still Stone Cold? Or was it?
Well, because that was the first one that had Stone Cold.
Okay. Yeah, I watched part of it.
And all that had Trish Stratus on there. They had Miss USA, Rima Fakim, or
I think so.
I can't remember her last name, but a beauty show. Like, she wasn't good. She wasn't good as a wrestler, but she was trying.
Mm-hmm. That's all you can ask.
If you gave her training, she could be good. If you give these models training, they can be good. Eva Marie, as little training as she's actually received, she's doing all right for the amount of training that she's actually received. So you start investing a little bit more time in them before you put them on TV, before you make them the face of your Divas division. With all due respects to AJ and Paige, the one that if you put them on national TV and say, this is our diva,
make sure she's good.
Make sure she's good before you do that. Hopefully you learned your lesson with Eva Marie, and hopefully you fixed that mistake.
Well, see,
because it's not a mistake bringing her in, it's a mistake not training her.
See, and Paige, as soon as she got in, she was dominant. Well, I mean, you can't even use the word dominant. She got lucky, really, in that first match. But then she started showing off her arsenal,
Well, and
they got people behind her because she just beat the Divas champion who, a lot of people liked AJ, but a lot of people thought she was fucking annoying,
Well, and AJ held on to it for far too long.
295 days.
And so, and she needed to take time off. She just got married.
Which means hopefully she'll be back soon.
Hopefully.
Alright, next on the countdown.
Unless she goes the Brie Bella route.
Right. Next on the countdown, number 19 up from 22, Bo Dallas. What?
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Really, Frosty?
Wait till you see Audrey.
Oh my god. Alright.
Frosty.
Anyway.
Frosty Mama.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. All the hard work. Thank you guys.
Cool.
Sorry, our colleague Frosty Mama I guess she's going to a job interview or something.
No, we gotta go be in a wedding.
She's gonna go help ruin somebody's life.
Alright, it's not mine.
Well, we know you're not dressed for it. Well, actually,
you might be.
You would dress like that for your wedding.
I was gonna say that's how you would dress for your wedding. Your butt ice in your hand.
It's a pussy for the rest of my life.
It's like, do you, Frosty Flakes, take Frosty Mama to be your wife? You're goddamn right I do. You're in a church, and I got a beer in my hand.
We're gonna have fucking.
It's like
it's all
we ain't doing this into a church.
It's gonna be like hay bales for the seating arrangement.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
Alright, so number 19.
We're gonna have some guy who just got his license to marry off the internet.
It's like, shit, what do I do? He'll be like, what do I say next? Shit, something about objections, right? Can we skip that part? I don't know if we're allowed to skip that. We're skipping that part.
Yeah.
You're the one getting married, man.
There's there's a few people here who might actually have objections, and I don't want to fucking hear it.
I'd be a smart ass. I'd be like, I object. My only thing is, I'm mad that you didn't name your first kid Fruit Loops.
Alright.
Back to the countdown. Number 19.
Business.
Right. Number 19. Bo Dallas. He's been moving up slowly. 7 and Bo. If you're JBL.
Yeah. Are you guys actually recording this?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, we are. It's back here. But yeah, all the little Bo puns, like unbelievable. The Bo dog. It's getting kind of annoying. Bo ring. That's a good one though.
I love that one. That one was actually fun. Thank you, WWE Universe for Bo ring.
He's building a slow resume.
Well, and a slow rapport with the fans.
And he's also not winning dominant match. Like he's dominant, but he's not like 2 minutes and he's done, like Rusev.
Yeah, he's not doing Rusev, which Rusev can pull that off because that is his
That's his gimmick.
That's his body size. He's an unstoppable monster.
But he's not gonna get in a title match because nobody wants to see a title match every single time that's 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
You gotta stretch him out.
Mm-hmm.
Even a 10-minute title match every time gets kind of just kind of short, you know.
His match with Big E Langston showed that he can go the distance.
He can, and they need to keep that up. I mean, but
it's hard to find performers who can keep a long match with him believable.
Exactly, right? Because like you get Sin Cara in there, Sin Cara go the last 2 minutes. Like that's just he's a small guy. If you're gonna
put a small guy in with Rusev, there's only one guy you can call. Rey Mysterio.
I was gonna say Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, I think would be.
Daniel Bryan would be good.
He's not ready for that yet.
No. He's not ready. He's not ready for a monster like Rusev.
I was gonna say Rusev's not ready for that.
Once Rey Mysterio. Well, I'm thinking like rehab wise.
Right. Definitely not.
Because Rusev's a little bit green, and you can see in his match with Big E, there was a lot of real impact, and they're not going to put Daniel Bryan in there with someone like that. Rey Mysterio, he's still top tier talent. He's going to bring prestige to the match. Just
and how many times has he fought a long match with Big Show?
Yeah, I know.
Or Kane or Batista.
He's fought matches with monsters so many times.
He's the David to the Goliath.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Well, and Daniel Bryan is coming up, and everyone's talking about all of the odds that he's overcome. Daniel Bryan owes a lot of the willingness of the WWE to utilize. Yeah, we can put the title on some guy who's not the biggest, not the strongest.
They've done it several times. Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio,
Chris Benoit.
Yeah, Chavo even. He was ECW champion. I don't know if he ever held the world. Did he?
Well, ECW at that point, the ECW championship was considered top tier championship.
Exactly.
That was a world championship.
You don't have to be the biggest or the strongest. You just have to be the toughest.
Of course, you want to talk about mouthfuls. That was the World Wrestling Entertainment Extreme Championship Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship.
Really? I thought it was just called the ECW World Title. I don't think
that was what they.
I guess. In retrospect, because ECW was owned by WWE. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the World Wrestling Entertainment Extreme Championship Wrestling. Because that's what ECW still stood for. And it was considered a world heavyweight title. It always has been. So, because it maintained the same history line as...
Well, speaking of smaller champions, number 18, Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I'm really disappointed that he's a great talent. But they kept the belt on him when he won in Money in the Bank for a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah,
he only defended it once. He couldn't defend it the first time because he got a concussion.
It's sad.
And then he lost it, and that was his face turn, because that match was still brutal. I mean, like all those kicks, even if they were fake, they made you feel bad for Ziggler.
Yeah,
and it showed that Del Rio was ruthless, and that was his heel turn.
But which at the same time, that's how Ziggler won the match. That's how Ziggler won it at the first place.
But he was a heel at the time.
You know, it's...
That was the only time I think... That was like the first time I ever cheered for a heel to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Come on. He cashes it. He almost loses. Like, damn it, come on. I actually kind of like the wheel a little bit, but come on, Ziggler, come on. You know?
Yeah, it's like... Because Ziggler's been so good forever. I remember a couple years ago, he was wrestling 2 matches every pay-per-view for a period of like 6 months.
Mm-hmm. He's got the talent. Definitely got the talent.
He's definitely... I'd say at some point, you need to put that big title back on him and give him a serious run with it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of people in line too. But I mean, there's a way you gotta definitely build him some credibility back up.
And maybe I'd say the same thing, possibly even with the Miz.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a legitimate run with it.
Right.
Instead of giving him, hey,
we'll let you main event WrestleMania, but The Rock is going to cause you to win your championship.
It's like we'll let you be the championship during WrestleMania, and you're going to leave with the championship, but no one's going to be talking about you. No one's going to be talking about you.
Exactly, because the focus was The Rock cost Cena the championship.
The focus is The Rock and Cena. The Rock and Cena. The next night, you come out. You're still WWE champion. And what are people talking about the next day?
John Cena and The Rock.
John Cena and The Rock just agreed to a WrestleMania champion or a WrestleMania match a year in advance.
Exactly.
It was bogus. It was bullshit.
Well, speaking of bullshit, bad gimmick versus bad gimmick number 17, Adam Rose. He beat Fandango on SmackDown, which he's got a decent gimmick. It's just too one-dimensional. Yeah, that's why I don't like Fandango. He's too one-dimensional. He dances.
Speaking of Fandango,
so it's like you know, explain Fandango's character. Well, he dances and he's obnoxious. That it? Yeah, pretty much. He's like you know, explain the Shield or explain Roman Reigns. Well, he's a badass he's a badass when it comes to the ring. He's not really the greatest on the mic, but he can say what he needs to say. You know, he's got a kick-ass spear. You know, he doesn't take shit from nobody. You know, that's a complex character.
Yeah, Seth Rollins. There's so much we can talk about for him.
Exactly, but like Adam Rose. Explain Adam Rose's character. He's a party boy. He takes nothing seriously.
Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud.
2 sentences. You know, if you can describe somebody's character in less than a paragraph, you're not doing it right.
It's like explain Adam Rose. He likes bunnies. Bunnies hot.
Right.
Let's see. You know, with Fandango, he dances. He's obnoxious. But we've seen obnoxious people do it better.
Exactly.
Dolph Ziggler.
Exactly. He shows off. He shows you that he's the best. He's not afraid to tell you he's the best. He shows you that he's the best, and he doesn't take. You know, he's like, oh, you think you're better than me? Well, let's prove it.
Fandango. He's a good worker. He's a good worker. It's just they did give him a great gimmick. I was actually recently watching.
My dad still to this day calls him Gay Boy. Absolutely. I was like, oh, I was actually asking him, it's like, are you watching SmackDown? I was like, yeah, right now it's Party Boy versus Gay Boy. I was like, that sums it up right there.
Except you see the women that he gets with.
Layla.
But Layla and Summer Rae.
Which they've had a little side feud. It's funny. Did you watch Raw where she dumped milk? Or Summer Rae dumped milk all over Layla, and then on was it SmackDown or was it main event? I think it was main event. It was one of the two.
Yeah.
Layla got back and hit her in the head with a box of kitty litter, threw it on the ground, and then rubbed her face in it. You know, I love when the divas get physical with each other. It's hilarious.
These two, they're building up to a feud that's almost. It's outstripping the Divas Championship feud.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there is no feud anymore.
But there's so much personal animosity built up between the two that I feel like they need a championship in the middle of that. But at the same time, it's working without it.
Exactly.
But no, Fandango. I was watching recently. It wasn't recent. It was, in fact, I think middle toward the end of last year. So late summer to the fall on Nerdist.com, where they had a group of Nerdists, including Chris Hardwick, from At Midnight, who's the host of Nerdist, like one of the main faces for Nerdist. They had Ron Funches, incredible black comedian. If you haven't paid attention to him, you really should. In fact, he's going to be what I'm actually talking about with this whole sidetrack. He had 4 nerds bowling against, and they do this every so often on Nerdist. They'll bowl against 4 people from another thing. And they bowled against 4 WWE guys. You had CM Punk, AJ Lee, and that was sort of cool getting to see them together. You had Kofi Kingston and Fandango. And so Ron Funches, every time he got up there on camera to throw the ball down, he threw it and he'd gutter ball. And then he'd go to an interview and he'd be like, that gutter ball was for you, CM Punk. That's what I think about you. You're a terrible person and all that. Next time he was up, he threw another gutter ball. He was like, that gutter ball was for you, AJ Lee, but mostly because I think you're pretty and I'd name anything after you. CM Punk, meanwhile, the wrestlers for a while, they're just dominating. CM Punk, he's sitting there and he's strategizing, and Fandango's wearing this ridiculous fedora hat. And so Fandango takes his hat off, they're covering their mouths, and CM Punk's just sort of strategizing with Fandango. Fandango gets up there, throws a strike. But before, as soon as they get done strategizing, puts his hat back on his head, and Punk gives him the, good luck slap ass. Well, next up is AJ Lee. And CM Punk stands up and she says, "No, do not slap my ass."
That's awesome. I'll have to watch it.
She was having a good time. But anyway, Ron Funches throws another gutter ball. He's like, that one was for you, Kofi Kingston. Mostly because you'll never get out in the mid card. Probably because you're black. Ron Funches is black. And then he throws another one, and he's like, that one was for you, Fandango. Good job working out with that terrible gimmick they stuck you with, though.
Yeah, it is a very pathetic gimmick. It worked for a while because his gimmick was he gets pissed off when nobody can say his name right.
Yeah.
And what I thought the funniest joke I ever saw or heard relating to that is, I wonder what happens during sex if they call out they say his name wrong. Does he just stop and leave? He's in the middle of getting it. Oh, Fandango. No, it's Fandango. Bye.
Pack your shit, get out.
Alright, number 16, Daniel Bryan, enough's been said about him, we could probably just move on. Del Rio, number 15, he moved up from 17. He didn't do anything this week, but he's qualified for the Money in the Bank.
And so they're going to start giving him at least
some good matches to get him build some
momentum and credibility. Should he win? Because if he wins, you need credibility behind whoever wins.
Or even if they don't, then it's like a comeback victory. He's in a slump, but bam, he's back on the top, kind of thing. It works with certain superstars and doesn't with others.
Yeah, but you need credibility for each champion to be perceived as strong. Well, that's the reason why no one believed Randy Orton as champion, because he couldn't win by himself.
Exactly.
He could never retain by himself. And so it was... and then he lost at WrestleMania. He's lost in the 2 pay-per-views since WrestleMania. He's going to need to build up some momentum and some credibility if he's going to win this.
Mm-hmm. Ryback's number 14 moved up 2 spots. They defeat Goldust and R-Truth. Goldust scenario with picking random partners from Cody. Yeah. Not working for him, but I think it'll work for the feud. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your ego to make a feud work, which will help elevate you. RVD number 13. Lost to Cesaro in the Money in the Bank qualification match, which was a great freaking match.
Oh, yeah. RVD and Cesaro, they put together a great...
And they didn't really have that great... They didn't have very good chemistry when they first started feuding. They've built it.
Yeah.
Their triple threat match was really good, except, that one spot where, the trash can hit RVD in the face, probably pissed him off. But I think they've worked past that and they've made themselves some really good matches.
I think RVD probably took him back there, worked with him, and
said, "Hey,
if we're ever gonna do screw it. Not even we. If you ever do a hardcore style match again, we can't have this happening."
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
RVD should be like the 100% coach for every up-and-comer for hardcore matches.
Like we're designing a hardcore match. All right, RVD, get over here and tell them what they should have in it.
Well,
have it supervise and watch, make sure they're doing everything the way it should be done.
They should have in it, like the camps that they have for the NXT superstars. They should have like a semester of
WWE Hardcore featuring your instructor, Mr. Monday Night, Rob Van Dam.
They need to have him, like, for the NXT superstars, have, like, Hardcore Wrestling 101, featuring Professor Monday Night.
Professor Monday Night, or Professor Pay-Per-View.
Yeah.
That would be a better one. The PPV.
And that way, everyone who comes up, they already know how to do a hardcore match without seriously fucking injuring the guy who they're in it with.
Like my name is Professor Pay-Per-View with a MD and Extreme. You can also shorten that with P.PPV.MD.EX. It's like, this guy's a man of acronyms, let me tell you. Number 12 on the list.
Kind of like I'm a PhD in all things WWE.
And
I love that.
Mostly WCW. Yeah, anything wrestling. The Usos, number 12, up from 14. They defeated Fandango and Sandow. And Sandow's fucking unitard. Oh my god.
Why Sandow?
Right? He had a great character. Like, he was the egotistical, scholar who pissed on everybody else because he thought he was better than them. And he was a Money in the Bank winner and got screwed out of it by creative.
Mm-hmm.
Which I can see why they did it, because they wanted to unify the titles. So it makes sense. But why not let Sandow hold on to it until that is over? Because he does still have a contract for the World Heavyweight Championship, and that is half of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, and
that contract still could have worked.
Yeah. Challenge and split the belts back up again. That would have been awesome.
Right? Or even, let's say, Orton won it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Sandow goes to challenge Randy Orton, and Randy Orton beats Sandow. That doesn't hurt Sandow. It doesn't hurt Randy
mm-hmm.
Orton.
Mm-hmm.
That would help Randy Orton because maybe he's able to finally beat somebody by himself. But it is Sandow. But he beats the cash-in.
Yeah,
he becomes the first one to ever beat the cash-in without interference.
Yeah. And let's face it, John Cena didn't need that.
No, he didn't. He already had the boost. He just got back from injury. And I guess it was a good way to sell that, yes, that injury is healed.
It was
because he targeted it.
It was healed, but at the same time, it could have been done anytime.
And it could have been done a lot better, too.
Yeah, it could have been done. Who was he facing? Who was he in a feud with?
Del Rio.
Alberto Del Rio.
A guy who targets that arm for his special.
Mm-hmm. Let's let us run with that one for a little while.
Exactly. I think that feud ended too short.
Del Rio definitely could have done a lot better job targeting that arm and an attack.
Mm-hmm. And I bet the development or the creative probably told them hold off on it because we're not sure on it. We don't want to injure him because we just got him back. But at the same time, you can do all that stuff and not put any pressure on it, make it still look like it.
Because Sandow wasn't actually slamming chairs down onto fucking Cena's arm when it was pinned against the
And plus it was
steps.
padded too.
Yeah, I mean, it's that was one of those things where he's not actually getting any real pain out of it. Well, he's not getting any real re-injury out of it. It showed up Cena's strength, but it could have been done better.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, the Usos and the Wyatt family, Harper and Rowan, are actually scheduled to meet up at the pay-per-view
I'm looking forward to it,
and I
think the Usos are losing.
And if they don't, that'll be a big boost for them. It's just going to depend on what else happens in the card and everything. It's shaping up to be a good match. So that's the only match that's actually been confirmed, completely confirmed. The Money in the Bank, World Heavyweight Championship ladder match. We know it's going to happen. We just don't know who all is going to be in it yet.
Yeah.
So it's not completely official.
I would still love to see another Money in the Bank match.
They need to do it. I don't know if they're going to.
Contract match.
I don't know if they're going to, but they really need to. You can put RVD in that match. You can put Rusev in that match. You could
put the upper level of the mid-carders, the ones who are still, like the ones who you know you're going to be pushing anyway.
Okay, yeah, you could put. Okay, let's say we have 7. You could put Ryback. So there's 2. You could put Dolph Ziggler. You could put Bad News Barrett. You could put RVD.
Rhodes Brothers.
One or both of the Rhodes Brothers. You could even put Bo Dallas in there. You could put that or say Rusev. You could put him in there. You know, there's a lot of people you can put in there, and you just pick one who you want to win.
Well,
just because they're in that match doesn't mean they have to win it.
I don't want all of them to be newcomers, but I do want them all to be like upper mid-level.
A newcomer would help. Big E would be perfect actually, because he could win it and cash it in and become the new champion. We already know he can do decent with a belt.
He's great on mic.
Exactly.
Everybody loves him. He's awesome.
He's actually next on my list though, Big E. He beat Swagger on SmackDown. That's really all he did. But he moved up 2 spots, mostly because a lot of people moved down because
no one's doing shit.
Pretty much. Paige is number 10. She stayed where she was. She beat Alicia Fox on Raw. It was a non-title match, and that's where Fox had her big fucking freak out.
Yeah. Paige is doing pretty damn good for herself.
I do love her theme music. That intro is like, it almost sounds like nails on a chalkboard. Almost like, you know, I love that theme music.
And it fits her personality. Mm-hmm. It fits her gimmick.
It really does.
Damn that woman. She's too good. She's too good for me.
All right, Rusev is number 9. He beat Zack Ryder, which is a blazing. He's still in the company.
Yeah. Well, why was he not on the list?
You could have got rid of Ryder and kept Mahal. Or even McIntyre.
Definitely McIntyre.
Rusev also beat Kofi in main event, and that was actually a pretty lengthy match for a Rusev match. Bad News Barrett, number 8. He lost to Sheamus in the Money in the Bank qualification match. But then on SmackDown, he lost to Reigns via disqualification after... who interfered? I can't really remember.
I think it was... Did Rollins interfere himself?
No, Rollins interfered in Ambrose's match. I can't remember. Something led to...
one of the corporate lackeys.
I think so. Sheamus, number 7. He moved up from number 8. Barrett actually moved down 2 spots because of his loss to Sheamus in the Money in the Bank qualification. But Sheamus beat Barrett in the Money in the Bank qualification, and then he lost to Cesaro on SmackDown after they both qualified for the Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. Which, you know, a loss to Cesaro doesn't hurt Sheamus' credibility because Cesaro is one of those
he's
upper tier.
He's definitely upper tier, and he's going to be getting his push sometime very soon.
Absolutely. Cesaro, of course, number 6, moved up from number 9. He defeated RVD in the Money in the Bank qualification, and then he beat Sheamus, which we just talked about. The Wyatt family, you know, we said that they were, you know, they're going against the Usos at Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. Also, Bray Wyatt has qualified for the Money in the Bank match. He defeated Dean Ambrose because Seth Rollins interfered. And Monday Night Raw, they lost to Cena and the rest of the Shield. Which I didn't even see the finish to that match. I had to leave early to come over
and shoot podcast. With Roman Reigns,
it was odd.
And Dean Ambrose, it was odd because who was their favorite target for so long? John Cena and Ryback.
Mostly Ryback.
Mostly Ryback. Which when Ryback turned on John Cena, I was like, yeah, I'm with you there.
I saw that coming.
It was like, I helped you every single time the Shield came after you. How many times did I get attacked, and where was my buddy John Cena?
Well, speaking of the Shield, they're number 4. They moved up. They passed the Wyatt family because they won more of their matches as a whole the week. They absolutely destroyed 3MB, which is the last time that's ever going to happen. They destroyed 3MB on Raw. Then they defeated the Wyatt family.
God.
And then Reigns defeated Barrett via disqualification. Then Ambrose lost to Wyatt, of course. Mm-hmm. So in 3 of their matches, they were victorious in 2 of them, as opposed to the Wyatt family. They lost 1, 2. They were 2-2. So they have 50% chance over 66. So I put the Shield over. John Cena Of course, the only thing he did was defeat the Wyatt family, so he stayed exactly where he was because he didn't, gain any momentum over the two.
So what number is Cena?
3. He's rebounded a little bit.
He has, but
that win at Payback, as controversial as it was. I mean, it wasn't even controversial, but as bad of a booking decision it was, it did elevate him, put him back up where he needs to be.
But yeah, I don't like him being this close to the title hunt.
I don't even think he's anywhere near the title hunt at the moment. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. I think they should put him in the Money in the Bank match. That way, him and Bray Wyatt could just go after each other
and sort of
basically
either continue the feud or
end it there.
End it like.
And the only way to end it there, neither one of them needs to take the title.
Yeah.
Because if they take the title, they just start the feud back over again.
Well, neither one of them takes the title, and they both end up taking each other out of the match.
Exactly, and that would be awesome. Because then Cena's not going to win. Number 2, Evolution. As a whole, in ring action, they didn't do a lot. They promoted Seth Rollins a lot, and he's the number 1 spot. Mm-hmm. Seth Rollins, we're still hot about that whole turn.
Absolutely.
Since our last podcast didn't get put up, we can actually talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah. God, trust is completely dead to me too.
What I thought was funny during that whole show, that whole Raw, somebody I guess got into the Domino's Twitter page, and he was tweeting a bunch of just random funny jokes, and one of the funniest ones was, "Don't worry, Reigns and Ambrose, pizza will never turn its back on you." It was funny as hell. There was one is like, it takes 22 minutes to beat it to bake a pizza, and Undertaker's streak ended at 21. Coincidence or conspiracy? There's little stupid stuff like that. They actually did a lot last week. I just can't remember what's about. I'm gonna watch it tonight when I'm watching Raw. I'm gonna watch Twitter. I'm just gonna follow that guy. Be like, let's see what funny pizza related jokes, because they're all like pizza related. It's hilarious. That Seth Rollins is the hottest thing in WWE right now.
Domino's,
It might have been just a guy, because it looks like it seems to be the official Domino's page. I don't know if it really is, but it looks like exactly, or maybe it's DiGiorno.
If it is, then maybe it's.
It might be DiGiorno. I don't know. It would be funny. And it was funny. It's like maybe CM Punk would come back if they offered him free pizza for life, best crust in the world or something like that.
Oh,
it was kind of funny.
Maybe, what if Vince re-ups his contract and then gives him an ice cream bar?
That would be hilarious. I don't think that would be enough for him to come back though.
It's like,
all right, Phil.
It took us a while.
All right, Phil. You wanted your ice cream bars, you can have it.
It took us a while to get this out of development and then into reality.
What I did think was funny.
These are going to be shipped to every 7-Eleven in the country.
What I did think was funny. Have you been watching Slam City on the network?
No.
You should watch the CM Punk one.
They have a CM Punk one?
He's an ice cream salesman.
Of course.
It is. It was absolutely hilarious because, this is the best ice cream in the world. It was hilarious. All right. So, final thoughts before we kick the show off the air.
I'm looking forward to tonight's match or tonight's Raw. I'm hoping to see a few more plot developments, especially between the Shield and Seth Rollins.
I hope they at least put one or the other against Rollins as a one-on-one.
Yeah,
I think it should be Ambrose. Well, I don't. It's kind of, if you had to choose one, who would it be? Ambrose or Reigns?
Reigns took the brunt of the attack when Rollins turned.
But I think Ambrose
was tag team champion with him. Their bond is a lot tighter. Right,
and the fact that Dean Ambrose, or the fact that Roman Reigns said the 3 men standing in this ring are brothers, and then he stabbed his brother in the back. That I would like to see that one. I mean, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins will be really good because I think they mash up well in the ring.
Their styles are so.
I was actually watching a match from. It was a couple years ago because it was still FCW. It was Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, who was known as Leaki at the time. We had a triple threat match, and the winner was the number 1 contender for the FCW championship. And for the most of the match, Leaki, Reigns, was outside the ring, and Ambrose and Rollins were just going at it, and it was awesome. It was great action. So those two could have a really, really good caliber match.
Oh, yeah. Those two are...
But I think Roman Reigns would help. Roman Reigns going against Seth Rollins would definitely help the Triple H Reigns match that they're hopefully building for SummerSlam. Hopefully they're still building for that.
It would help solidify just how dominant a heel
Rollins
is. Because if Rollins beats Reigns, especially
because that would be the logical one, exactly. Or even if he wins clean, yes, and then Triple H tells him don't call off the dogs yet, just brutally punish him. Then he's got a reason to go after Triple H. Because the focus of that needs to be, we need a reason for Rollins to go after Triple H. Because Rollins can't.
Reigns to go after Triple H.
Yeah, because if Reigns just goes after Triple H, because Rollins went clean, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No, I think Reigns is going to go after Triple H because Triple H is the one who convinced his brother to step
exactly.
back.
And that would be logical.
That's what they seem to be building towards. Then
hopefully
as far as storyline.
Well, and then if let's say Randy Orton wins the championship, he's out of the picture for this whole feud. You get Reigns and Triple H, and then Ambrose and Rollins together, and then that match. Those are two top quality matches you could put together. You know, it's like, well, Roman got his turn. It's my turn now. You know, and then he either beats the shit out of him or whatever. It'll be interesting to see how they develop it in the next coming weeks.
It's definitely going to be very interesting.
All right, well, I'm Fish Food.
I'm Doc.
And this has been the WWE Podcast, and this is a Bottom of the Map production. We will see you guys next time.
Absolutely.
But first, you a Mitch. No, you a Mitch. No, this guy's a Mitch.
No, fucking
Frenchman's a Mitch, man. Oh, everybody's a Mitch. You're all Mitch.
This podcast has been brought to you by Bottom of the Map Productions.